I'm going to show you how we caught 1 to 30 risk to reward trades in total last week. And the crazy thing is that we haven't used anything crazy advanced. No crazy liquidity, no advanced theory, everything was way more simpler than you think. So one of the key things I teach a lot in the community and also live stream on TikTok is that price is pretty simple. You don't need to complicate it too much. The first question that everyone should be asking is always the same. Who are the participants in the market? We have sellers and we have buyers. That's it. That's it's all about, right? You don't need to complicate it. Now, listen to me carefully. So what I do here usually, and there's the way I develop my strategy over the last 5 to 6 years, is that I always try to understand who is in control first, right? So in this case, in gold, let's start with gold. We can see clearly that sellers has been huge control over here, right? We can see a lot of volume has entered this zone. However, if you look at the counterpart, right, buyers been struggling here for quite a lot of time, right? So what is happening now? Let's go to the current price narrative. If we look at last week, you can clearly see, right, that buyers have been overtaken from this specific drop. And then at one point at the beginning of the week, I said everybody on Sunday night, last Sunday, guys, look at the way buyers are behaving over here. They're struggling. You see, a lot of people, they call it ranging market, choppiness, but they don't understand that that is giving you hints. That choppiness, that ranging market is telling you a story that you're not catching it, okay? So our expectation was price to see getting here and then eventually continue for a sell. But there is another confirmation we use a lot, which is the power of timing. Simple timing, nothing advanced. Session open. Session open. Why session open? Because if we know that in the market we have only buyers and sellers, our next question is understanding when exactly they get triggered the most, when exactly the volume makes them move the most. Well, simple. London and New York. Well, you got Asian session as well, but we only focus on London and New York most of the time. And guess what? We failed to get into supply, but if you look at the timing, that's where we got our fast trade. So let's get over here and see what's happening. Now, let me show you the top process. We got 8 o'clock. Right, exactly UK time when price opens London session. Then we have price. I was monitoring closely and I realized that, okay, we don't have aggression from buyers. So we need to see volume kicking in the market. And guess what? We haven't had anything as such. If not, eventually sellers got in over here. And that was the moment when I realized that is my trade. That is the setup I'm going to take. And that's exactly the 1 to 5. Yes, some can argue, oh, this is a 1 to 10, 1 to 12. How come you did a 1 to 5? Because I have a strict rules that I always follow to understand where price has to go. And most importantly, around my risk management. So I gave everybody this POY. Everybody saw that. This was called out live, right? Live session. And by the way, guys, in case you want to know, look at this. So I was actually talking to everyone here with updates on these pairs, this trade. Like literally, we do live sessions. So I drop always the link over here. You can check it out. But despite that, what happened after that is that price came to our POY and the same stuff. I gave everybody this POY and I said, guys, let's see how the behavior of buyers are going to be over here, right? Now, I do personally use some confluences of mine to refine zones like this and accuracy, but that's not the point. What I want you to understand is always the same principle, is a price behavior, right? So we can see buyers eventually shows a bit of strength. But guess what? We need to wait for the major moment of the day, which is the timing. So guess what? I wait for London. London opens, and right there, when price steps into the supply, you see this sequence of these candles that are confirming the validity of the supply. Therefore, we had another beautiful 1 to 5. Indeed, if I'm not mistaken, I did share this over here. Let me just scroll a little bit down. What is it? Oh, there you go. Oh, no. Here you go. You see? So when I drop this over here, right, price didn't reach the target yet. Okay? So then later on, you can see actually we got another beautiful 1 to 5. Same stuff over here. I called everybody and I said, guys, that's what we're going to have in my forecast lab, right? Eventually, look at the timing. Again, look at the power of timing. What happened in that this game, we didn't have anything during London as we wanted. But once price got back over here, we had a beautiful another 1 to 5. Now, what I just shared over here, if I go to ARUSD and GBPUSD, you guys will get to see the same exact thing. So let me start with ARUSD. Look at this. Look at how similar prices can be. Once you understand the narrative, once you actually study it. By the way, these trades over here, they were called out live, literally in front of people. No hindsight trading. Okay, we don't do that in here. We always do live calls. Now, what happened over here is that same story. Look at this. We had sellers aggression, right, coming to the downside very, very strongly. And over here, you can see buyers are having a hard time. So that is a signal. That is a signal. So what do we need to see? We need to see validation. How do we validate that? Well, I just explained it to you. We need to see what London is going to do. What's the behavior London is going to use in order for us to use that confirmation. Now, if I look at the timing, you follow through the timing, you can see exactly right here, right? 8 o'clock, price creates a huge drop to the downside. Now, I got a bit early because I already had this as a confirmation over here, but you could have taken literally the next trade over here later, right? If you wanted. And the same stuff happened the day after. This was called out again during TikTok live stream. Okay, so the reason why I'm showing you all of this is because look, next day at the end of the week, that was my call out, and I explained everybody why you were looking for buy. Unfortunately, I didn't get anything in. Like I didn't get, but there was a beautiful trade over here if you guys want it. Price comes into the POY, and I said, everybody, wait for session open. And guess, look at this, it's crazy. So price gets into the POY, and you can see how exactly is actually losing the momentum. You see that? Price is choppy. Guys, when you see choppiness, when you see ranging, right, don't treat that as a, oh, I'm not trading. Treat that as a question mark. What's happening? Why price is ranging? Is there anything that I'm missing out to the left? Has price tapped any vital POY? Is that any important news ahead or session open ahead? How can you use that information, right? Because when you see this choppiness, it means they are taking a decision where price should be going next. And if you understand what I did over here, right, when I told everybody that this is the POY from where we're going to be reversing, then you just wait for session open. And look what happens over here. 8 o'clock, guys, that's not random all the time. It's the same thing. Look, 8 o'clock. You see, prior to that, everything's choppy. Price shoots up and eventually could have taken that. I didn't do that because 1 to 30 was more than enough for us. I didn't do 1 to 30 full. The whole community did that. I was happy with the 1 to 20. I think I got an average D and GU only. Gold, yeah, I know, gold as well. I think I took 1 or 2 trades. But overall, the same concept has been applied everywhere. Now, GU has been the most challenging one. GU, we got a couple of losses over here, here, and here. And now let me tell you that why as well. So GU, nothing much crazy over here. We had the similar narrative USD. Actually, this was even the cleanest one among all. Look at this. Price steps into supply, buyers are struggling, right? Sellers are dropping aggressively. All you got to do is wait for session open. And that's why we have session opens over here, right? Look at this, 8 o'clock. What is it? 8 o'clock, look, momentum kicks in, change in order flow. That was a beautiful 1 to 5, beautiful 1 to 5. The very next day, this was called out during the live stream. I said, everybody, guys, wait for price to come back into the supply, see the price behavior again. Buyers are having hard time. Here we had a bit of strength, but this was a fake out. And eventually I got a stopped out because I was looking for sell, but I got wicked out by the silly wicks over here. And then eventually I tried to take a trade over here, which was a miss, but again, it was a 1 to 5. Eventually, the forecasts were perfect. I gave everybody this target. We stayed a little short from that, and then the next, it reversed. Now, in terms of sell, why I got the losses as well, because obviously we don't win all of them. We take losses like everybody else, right? So I personally took losses, 3 losses over here. And the reason being is because I was just following the same exact narrative. When I saw this drop over here, I wanted to get into sell, and this change in order flow was my validation. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. So I was like, okay, what exactly might have gone wrong? So I've seen liquidity got grabbed, momentum kicks in once again, and guess what? Price wicks me out once again. So now anyone else would have freaked out, like, wow, what happened here? How come you lost it even though you saw liquidity grab, you saw momentum, you saw timing, session, it was all in your favor. What happened? Well, nothing happened, guys. That's the thing you need to understand. The trading is also about taking losses. And that's exactly what happened to me over here, right? I've taken losses and it's fine. I'll move on with it. That means that this time around, this session wasn't the best for me. It's fine. But guess what? Even though I have taken, let's say 1, 2, 3 trades, 3 stop over here, right? I could have actually recovered around here. Like this for me, I mean, I don't have to go smaller time frame, but this was a beautiful trade. Like, look, over here, that was a nice 1 to 5. What is it? 1 to 5. Yeah, 1 to 5. That was a beautiful 1 to 5 over here, right? I could have easily taken that. Like, look, but it's fine. I didn't take that because I was happy with the 1 to 20 overall that I made across different pairs that trade. But this goes to show you guys that if you just pay a little attention on the chart, you can understand what's happening. Like, for example, now GBP USD, right? Let's be clear. What can you see? Look at this. This is live, by the way. So I'm doing it for next week, yeah? Price is going up, right? You can see that. We have momentum. Then we have some type of rejection. Then it's pushing hard and hard. But now, if you look closer, look at this. If you look closer, you can start noticing something. First, we have a lot of rejection over here. And then these candles, you see the way it's moving? The bodies are getting tinier and tinier and tinier. They're getting smaller, smaller, smaller. So what exactly is going on over here? That means that something is about to happen. And guess what? I expect for Monday open or whenever, this to do something, let's say, somewhere like this. And I'm not going to even look for sell. Where is going to be my target? Well, most probably this is going to be my first target. Why not? It looks pretty nice. Yes, that's something that I can look for. But how do I validate that? Look, I'm doing this live in front of you, so you guys can come back over here and then we can talk about it. But look, I can already see buyers having hard times. If I go now even further, let's go to 5 minutes, I can see that sellers are trying to push in strongly. So this is why we should be going, right? That's why I see price coming next. Now, what's going to be happening? Once London session kicks in on Monday, I might look for a sell. But remember, overall, right? Overall here, we need to analyze what's the objective. And the objective for now is this one. Okay, I'm not going too much into that because that's not the purpose of the video. But pretty much, this is one of the way I break down my chart continuously for my people in the community. And if you guys want to see my daily forecast, because I do this daily, literally every day of the week, you can click the link below and you can join the community. So I'll see you inside, guys. And remember, I only got 20 spots left as of now.